Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, we've got Luke Powell-Thomas from Shredfast.
Yes, Tim.
Mate, I've been following you for a bit.
Okay.
Love everything that you're doing. The one thing I really want to talk to you about, right, is no excuses and the power of self-discipline.
The book?
Big thing, well...
Or just in general?
Just in general, your take on it, mate. Because that's something that, you know, when I've been watching your content, that's something that I've really taken away from it. It was my mate Ryan who introduced me to your Instagram page, looked at it, looked at the community, and I thought it just feels different to what everyone else is doing. And you have got this get into the uncomfortable discipline. You talk to me about that, mate.
Yeah, so even, do you know what it is? Even just on the way down, I was listening to something and it was like, what feels good isn't always good for you. And it's powerful, like little things like that I think is the message that I'm trying to basically put across. I mean, the things I do don't feel good, but they're good for you. It's not like a lot of the bad things for us in the long run feel good at the time.
Have you always been like that?
No, definitely not. But I've always been prepared to put myself in uncomfortable situations. So I've always, in sports, it mainly started out as a child. I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to jump the furthest. I'll be able to jump the highest. I'll be able to run the fastest. Everything was a competition.
What was the point where you really like ingrained it into your sort of belief system? That
once I experienced a really low point in my life and started really heavily researching all of these things to cure trauma and
can you talk about that low point in your life?
Yeah,
is it something you talk about?
Yeah, I just experienced it. I was obviously a young lad going about doing the wrong things, and just as a lot of young men are, I probably had a bigger ego than I should have, and I got myself into a little bit of trouble with the wrong people. And yeah, I basically just had a rude awakening, got attacked, and that basically stemmed this little downward spiral, going into like being very paranoid, and it wasn't a great time. It's not something that I really speak about very openly. I don't think I will anytime soon go into the nitty gritty of it at all. Yeah. It's just something that happened and sent me on a downward spiral, and as I say, I'd wake up each
because
day.
When I look at your stuff, like that's what I was interested in to talk to you about. Was I know there'd been something because you've got this drive, and it usually comes from a place of darkness. Because mine does 100%. This internal
100%. I think that's why it's really difficult now that I've got a young daughter.
Yeah.
How much do you hold them away from the world? Yeah. Because a lot of your trials and tribulations are what shape you and make you. Some of the most powerful people in the world, some of the most inspirational people have all come from a dark place, a low point in their life. So, but that wasn't the only thing that happened. Obviously, that sent me on a bit of a downward spiral, but there was plenty of other stuff. I mean, just as a child, like I say, I was very impulsive. I don't even like to label it, but I've been diagnosed with ADHD. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I know that it is a real thing. I'm not saying it's not real. Yeah. I just don't believe.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why I resonate with your page, because I think, you know what I mean. I'm kind of there with it, so, and I can see it in your energy.
So you're like, obviously you're impulsive, and a lot of those stupid impulsive decisions led to the wrong things. I was always in trouble. I was always just literally doing the wrong things all the time, making the wrong choices. And like I say, but I always had a good heart. That's the God's honest truth, Tim. Yeah. Like, I haven't got to sit here and say I was a horrible person or I did this to anyone.
You can see it,
was never like that. You can
see it in your intentions, in your posts.
Yeah, it was never like that. I was never a bad person in that sense. I was just very impulsive, always the one to stand up for what I thought was right, and that could, sometimes things are better left unsaid and all that type of gear. It really was. It was just that for a long time, just doing that. And then I always say this, and I feel like, especially in Liverpool, misguided passion is the most detrimental thing to our society and our culture, because there's so many people with, like you're saying, that buzzing energy, that vibrating energy, where they've got so much to give, and they're funneling it down the completely wrong track, and they're going like they've got so much to give to the wrong things.
Is that the reason you've set up Shred Fast? Is that kind of a purpose of Shred Fast, is to find these?
As I say, when I was going through all these times that I'm explaining, I started to study. Why am I doing this? Why am I making these impulsive decisions? Why am I acting this way? How do I cure trauma? How do I cure like mental health? And in doing all this and starting to implement it, I thought this is working so well. I was becoming happier, healthier, better. Everything was becoming better for me. My life was starting to turn around, and I thought, okay, these things aren't a secret that I use, but I've put them together in a very unique way that's specific to my program personally, which is Shred Fast. Now it's based on really 5 rules for life that I try and live by. That's cold water therapy, affirmation and prayer. If you're religious, it doesn't matter what you are. Shred Fast workouts, just working out, walking and running, and leveling up, which is just self-improvement. Those 5 things are just, they're what I implement into the Shred Fast program. There's a lot of depth to each of them, which we can get into, but they're the 5 things that I try and live by. Now, I didn't invent any of them. I didn't invent any of the techniques whatsoever. Everything's passed down, isn't it? But I've put this together in my own unique way, and what makes it different is my intention behind it. My intention was to help me, and I'm not going to sit here and say, I just had an idea one day, I'm going to help as many people as I can. That wasn't my thought process. That's not how it came about. I helped myself, and in doing that, I realised I'm onto something here, and if it's helped me, because I only you know how you feel, Tim, in your own mind. But when you know where you've been, how low you've been, that for me to feel okay, feel good, it was like I've got to share this, people. I have to give this to people, because I know so many other people. I PT'd for a long time, and when you're PTing, there's something about working out, Tim, your emotions come out. It's almost like a drug. Well, it kind of is, isn't it? You're releasing endorphin and stuff. So when people work out, they used to pour the heart out to me, and all these things, I get goosebumps every time I talk about this. But they used to pour the heart out to me, so I got to see so many different problems from different people. It was part of the reason that I got sick in the end, mentally sick, because I didn't know how to get rid of that. So I'm taking all this on from everybody, and in doing that, I learned so much about people and about society. And these people on the outside look like high achievers, high flyers, not a care in the world, when they were damaged inside and internally. So seeing all of this, this is when I was PT, and I was like, right, this is going to help all them. So I started really helping my clients. They come to me for therapy sessions almost, Tim, do you know what I mean? And I used to think, I'm in no position here because I'm fucked myself. So like, I'm giving all this advice, but it was because it was what I was practicing. It took a long time for it to come full circle and work for me. But while I was practicing all these things, I was giving the advice, and I was seeing other people change around me. And then that's when I realised my purpose, or my talent, whatever you want to call it in life, is just elevating people. Everyone who's within my vicinity seems to spark and light up. Like that's just what I've always had since I was a child, which is why, again,
you're like a magnet, mate, aren't you?
So when I'd be in these wrong environments, I was a magnet for the wrong things. Put me in a good environment and I'll attract the right things. So that's my talent. That's who I am. That's what I've got. And now I understand that, and I'm
Do you reflect on that, what your purpose in life is?
Massively, you know. Massively.
And what when you're sort of like being grateful and doing these affirmations, what is it that you put on this planet to do? This leveling up of elevating people.
Yeah, elevate. Like, I have an affirmation: everything I touch turns to gold, and I truly believe it. I believe everything I touch turns to gold. Anything I put my energy into will turn to gold. Anyone I'm associated with will experience increased life in some way, health, wealth, whatever it is, happiness, peace of mind. I'll and sometimes it's at the expense of myself.
Yeah.
Which is where I've come to a point now where I'm getting better each day at knowing when I need to take a break and take myself away from it.
And when you've got enough energy,
and when I've got it, exactly, because if I'm not being the best version of myself, then my business will suffer. So there's some days, I mean, you got to go in and you do a workout, and there's thousands of people watching you, not necessarily live, but it's going out to that many people, and you really don't want to do it, Tim. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's days that, and I say this openly, and I think that's another reason, because I'm honest with it.
Yeah.
So I'll say I don't want to work out today either, but we're here, And I always have a thing.
Another one is like just how authentic you are on your thing, because I see a lot of businesses, but I don't look at you as a business. I look at you as a brand, the Shredfast brand, and obviously your personal brand as well. It's amazing what you've built, mate.
I appreciate that.
It is, honestly.
Really do. I massively appreciate that. Like I said, on the videos, when I speak to the video, the amount of people, Tim, marketing people, you need to do this. I don't need to do anything. Do you know what my philosophy is, honestly? And people want you to grow quick, but if you do this, you can grow with this. I like to grow organically so that I can handle the rate that I'm growing at, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be ready. If I handed over the ability to, you can project my business in this way, or if you come to us, we can do this. Maybe I can't handle that, and I'm a religious person. Maybe God, I'm not ready for that. God, or the universe, however you want to spin it, gives you what you're ready for. And if you're not ready for the things, you see what happens in the public eye.
Why is everybody such in a rush?
Exactly, Tim.
Why?
Because they've created, I think society, like the whole world has created this, I don't even know what to word it, like a structure.
Look at this self-entitlement that I need it right now, and I need the likes right now, and I need this, and nobody's willing to be patient, are they?
No.
And they can't, I need it now, and they traumatise themselves. 100%. I'm just like, there's so much doing and not enough being for me in this world. And I love people who can just be, just like you're doing. I'm just like, oh, you did this. I could give you 1,000 ideas to make your business more money. But why?
Yeah.
Why?
Seriously though, you're exactly where you're supposed to be if you're doing the right things. Now, if you're not doing the right things, but I know I'm getting up every day and saying them, and I'm putting out a good message. So therefore, I believe I'm doing the right thing. Now, if I'm doing the right thing every single day, Tim, I know I'm where I'm meant to be when I'm meant to be there. So I don't feel, like I say, I just don't feel like I need that push and pull from anybody at all. I found myself being open, and it doesn't feel right. I get stressed, I get anxiety, I get tense, feeling in my chest and everything physically. I feel everything physically. It's weird. Like I get certain, like.
Have you always been quite spiritual?
Always prayed to God since I can remember. I prayed to God.
Because you're quite an empathetic person, aren't you? You take a lot of people's.
Yeah, massively. I've always done that since I was a child, like 1,000,000%. I used to come
Have you ever
home.
tapped into that? Have you ever developed that spiritual side of you more?
I think I'm doing that now with what I'm doing. Yeah, I feel like I am. Do you know, you've got like Reiki specialists and fortune tellers. I feel like what I'm doing is, as I say, when I'm doing a workout and I'm the best version of myself, I'm literally giving people that energy and power, and they're transmuting that energy into them and taking about the day. I always finish the workouts with, please take this energy, feel us here on stage. I had on stage on the video, I always had this vision when I was creating Shredfast. I used to think, no, like the single mums and single dads, and people who don't get out much, people who are socially very introverted, and I used to think, they'll be in the room there, but I'm going to make them feel like they're with me. If they've got their AirPods on even, or they're just watching me on, I'm going to make them feel like they're in this room with me. Do you know what I'm saying? And like that's what I wanted to create, and that's what I am creating. People are messaging me and just like, I'm just loving the workouts. And what I love most is everyone I speak to now, their friends are telling them, I'm doing this workout, and it's spreading like wildfire, and that's a rate I can handle because it's a natural rate. It's just a word of mouth rate. And of course, branding, but I've never ever bought followers. I've never paid for ads, nothing. I've done a couple of sponsors with 30, 40 pounds. I've never done an actual marketing strategy, nothing like that. I'm not saying I won't in the future when I feel like I am ready to take that next step. Right now, I'm concentrating on getting my product the best it can possibly be. So I'm just happy with how things are going at the minute. But I feel like I'm in me elements when I'm doing what I'm doing.
When I talk about faith with you, what is your faith?
I wouldn't even say I've got them, because people label it, don't you? I'm Catholic. I grew up Catholic. My nan is very religious. I went to church every single week, every Saturday, and if I missed Saturday because I was playing out, I had to go Sunday morning with my nan. You know what I mean? So this is the thing. I had an amazing childhood. we didn't have everything. Yeah. Like I lived in a house with, it was me, my mum, my auntie, 3 of my uncles and my nan. So there's 7 of us in a 3-bedroom terrace house, but wouldn't change it for the world. Don't let that paint the picture of I had the most amazing childhood you could ever imagine. My auntie, who I just referred to then, and basically she's like my sister. Like I call her my sister. We grew up together. I mean, it used to be me and my mum on the bottom bunk and her on the top bunk till I was 10 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah, so like, and then my 3 uncles in the other room and my nan in the box room. Little dog there as well.
Does that help you kind of stay grounded? You're always kind of...
Tim, every single day I wake up, I swear I'm getting goosebumps all over my body again. But every day I wake up and I'm doing something like this and I've got my own gym.
It's class, mate.
And I'm just like... I share the bed with my mum, like I've got my own gym now. I've got even honest to God, when I wake up some mornings I think I've got a double bed. Do you know what I mean? It's got a double bed. I've got my little girl next to me there, girlfriends in the bed next to me, my dog's over in the corner. Because even little things like that, I always had this. When I was a kid, I used to like we'd be in the living room and I'd be like, Mum, can't we put the chair here? And like and make a den here, and my mum would be like, look, we can't do that, do you know what I mean? And I used to think, why though? Like, why can't we do these things? So now that I've got my little girl and my girlfriend's the same as me, Tim, and we do little stupid things like that. We go out, sometimes we just buy like a marquee and put it up. Swear, man. Yeah, exactly that. So that's when exactly, like you're saying here, do I ever is that, that's what keeps me grounded. I'm so grateful,
and you need to, other people need to be like that.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful. Tim, I'm going to Jamaica in 4 weeks, 20th of November. Sorry. And we're going for 2 weeks. And I booked it last year. And it's me, my mum, my little sister, my girlfriend, my little girl, and my nan. And like that to me is the ultimate flex, the ultimate happiness. Yeah. I don't care about watches and cars and houses and this and that, and I can do this and eat at the finest restaurant. That to me is just, that is everything to me. That's something I have worked my whole life to do, to be able to take my girls away. Do you know what I mean? All my girls, like to be able to go and protect and provide for them. And so that is to me, it's such a massive day, this date when it comes. And I visualised something when I was probably... Because I used to want to be a footballer, so I used to tell my mum I was going to be rich from when I was, as soon as I could speak, honestly. And like, I can't wait for her to eventually do a podcast or something one day and she'll tell you this all. But I always used to tell her, I obviously used to think it was going to come from football. But then when I realised it wasn't, about 5-6 years ago now probably was, I got this visual in my mind and I seen it so strong every day. And it was me, sat on the plane, going to Jamaica. And my mum sat there and she gets a glass of champagne, gets called Miss Powell. And I just say to her, Mum, I told you, didn't I? Do you know what I mean? And I swear again, I'm getting goosebumps all over my body. But like I said, I told you, Mum, and I've visioned it. And it's going to happen within the next four weeks now. And being
moment, mate, that,
just exactly what that.
Moment.
I zoned onto it. My mum's never been out to Europe. So she's been on a couple of holidays, not many, could count on one hand how many times she's been away. But going to somewhere like Jamaica, and then what makes it even better is that's where my girlfriend's from. That's where their heritage is. So my little girl, within the first year of her life, is going to go.
Are you going to enjoy it? I know you will do anyway, but will you take a moment to yourself to kind of go, whoa, this is, I need to stop and like enjoy this right now? When
I'm there,
yeah,
100%. I was only speaking to my girlfriend yesterday saying, I'm going to have to spend at least 4 or 5 days with no phone whatsoever and take this in.
You've got to, mate, haven't you?
I've got to, man.
It's a big one for you, isn't it?
I've got so much going on at the minute that's going to be really difficult to do. Whatever way we like to look at it, Tim, we need to be in contact with our phones, don't we? Like they're not great for our mental health, but they're kind of invaluable. They've created what I've got, basically, the iPhone. So I'm going to have to do that though and just completely switch off and just be at peace and take every single second of it all in and just be in that moment and think, this is life, like what you're saying, Tim. You've got all these other things people are chasing, and I'm just so glad I've realised, without even having to get there yet, that that's not why I'm doing this. because a lot of people have to get there, don't they? So I could spend the next 3 years waiting to get to the very top and then go, wasn't it? I know now, so therefore I'm enjoying the journey. A lot of people are like, oh, you need to enjoy the journey because when you get to the end, it's not good, but they've never. I've had that many good people around me, olders, giving me this advice. Now, yeah, back in the day, we probably weren't the right people, but they still give the same advice because everything in life's the same, isn't it? Yeah. Whatever game you're in, good or bad, getting to the top requires a certain amount of like grit and determination, and no matter what, to get to the top in anything. So in every field I've spoke to people about, they've all give the same advice, and luckily now I'm around the most amazing people you could ever imagine.
Because that's the frequency you're putting out.
Exactly that. Again, I was only watching a video this morning about frequency, but I wrote in my book, never told this on anything like this, and I wrote in my book, it must have been 5 years ago, 2017. Yeah, 2017, and I've got my little friend who's a little boxing coach called Carl Naylor, so shout out to him, he's an absolute legend, boxing on Instagram. But I told him, Tony Bellew is he's gonna manage me, because at this point I wanted to box professionally.
That's right, you trained for the Creed fight, didn't you?
I said he's gonna be my manager. I didn't even know, I'd never interacted with this person before in my life. I said Tony Bellew's gonna be my manager, and he's gonna help me get to where I need to with boxing. Now again, as I said with football earlier, and then now I'm achieving what I always wanted, but not through football. And I never hold on to any. So boxing isn't the way forward. Now I've realised what my life purpose is, and that I can only do the one or the other. Yeah. So boxing's the way, but I mean, Tony followed me on Instagram randomly. A couple of weeks later, messaged me and asked if he just basically said, any way I can help you, mate, just let me know. I like what you're doing. So I said, can you teach me a thing or two with boxing? So we went into Derby Lane, took me on the pads, but for no reason, and then was just like, right, see you later, mate, stay in touch, took me number, and then just messaged me and would just continue to. And then about 6 months to a year later, said, I've basically got this role, don't tell anyone, but can we get in and get in shape? I was like, be me on it, do you know what I mean? And he still paid me. He wouldn't let me not. I used to say to him, no, it's okay, like, do you know what I mean? This is he's a boyhood hero of mine. No, don't be daft, he'd always just pay every single time. And I've gone to his now and had food in his house with his family and my family, a girl and my girlfriend, and there I stood in his back garden, he was showing me now, and I was just thinking, how am I actually like doing, like, how has this even happened? Not that I don't feel like I deserved it. I fully feel enough and feel worthy, but how has this even happened? Like, and it's just purely down to getting a picture in your mind and holding on to that picture. And I don't just believe in just law of attraction. I'm not one of these just sit there and meditate in your room to what you want. Yeah. That does work, Tim. Yeah. But then the action,
attached to it, next level,
so much quicker. It just boom.
I watched your video. And it was so simple, and it was you going to the petrol station, you got out your car and you were freezing outside, and then about getting back in your car and you were being comfortable and warm, and I was just like, it's so true, that, isn't it?
Isn't it?
You just want to be comfortable and warm and what's it, but to really appreciate that time, you've got to be uncomfortable.
100%. Well, when does food taste the best?
Yeah. When you've not had it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like, because when you say your story about your mum and that, and I started off in my mum's second bedroom doing this, and like fucking had to like proper strip my ego back and get rid of all my bullshit. Right. But I appreciate this time so much right now because I can remember that time. But without that time, it just wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the same.
Exactly. The tough thing is, for us both, have you got children yourself, Tim? No. So like. For me, I'm just thinking, like, how do we approach this with me? Which I do think there's a way. I think there's a formula, because I've met a lot of wealthy people who've come from wealthy families who are amazing people, so in touch with themselves, and there's a certain way you can do it. I feel when you're in money and you've got comfort, there's a certain way to still make your children feel uncomfortable enough that they have to go out and work. When you do it right, these children can still experience this
without being self-entitled. Look, you give them
100%, 100%.
Never thought that, you know.
There's definitely a formula to do it. Do I think it'll be as sweet as for the kids you've come from? Not, and probably not. But it is what it is. Maybe spin it round again and say, well, and as much as I love what I went to as a child, let's all be honest, when we was a child and we'd see our rich friends doing the things that they was, I know for a fact that my friends in that moment loved their life. So it's not that these rich children, when you're a child, you love everything no matter what. If you're getting to go on holiday all the time and you're getting all the best clothes, it's the best. Now, I just don't feel like one shoe fits all. I just feel like every single child is going to be subjective and you've got to raise them in the correct way. And that's me newfound little task now that I've got, my little girl on my hands, and how do we approach this? What do we do? What type of food do we let her eat? How, because I ate this food and I was this way. Do we give her, like, what type of medicine do we give her? Do we allow her to have this? Do we not allow her to have it? And it's all these little small, it's difficult, man. It's tough. It's tough, but as tough as it is,
you'll find the way, mate. You just know you will.
You just got to go with your gut. Your gut never lies to you. That's one thing. Every time, every problem I've ever had in my life, Tim, I've gone against my gut.
How big are these visions that you're having? When you have a vision, I feel like you picture it really well.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have to get a board and you have to stick a board up.
I do all that too.
Do you?
I do all that
too. I feel like your vision's a lot stronger than...
It started when I was a child. When I first, do you remember like Walkmans? When Walkmans first come out, you'd have the thing, go over the bump and it'd stop, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? But so I had the little CD player and I put music in, and music for me, I'd sit there, listen to music and put myself in where I wanted to be. I'd done that my whole life. So when I was playing at Everton, I played at Everton Youth. I joined at 13 and played till I was 18. Didn't get my pro contract, and then that's where I kind of fell away from football. But from the age of 6 till 18, I was completely obsessed with football. I loved it so much, Tim, and I was really good at it. Really good at it. More athletically gifted than technically. I was very fast and strong and could jump the highest and jump the longest, and you know what I mean. I was like, it was my speed was the main thing that got me out to, or got me to the level that I got to. But when we used to play away games, so we used to play all over the country. You play Leeds, you play like Man City, you play Bradford, you play Wolverhampton, you play Arsenal. So when we were on the coach, I'd sit there and I'd sit at my own, because I was quite introverted at a young age. I was
going to ask you that, because you feel you're quite naturally an introvert, but you've got to kind of turn it on for...
It's a weird thing, you know, and this is why I don't believe in labels, because no one's anything around the right people. So around my cousins and my family, because we were such a close family growing up, I was the life and soul. Then put me in school and I dissipated. Put me in football around these high achievers and it dissipated even more. So no, I wasn't an introvert with my family, because naturally I was the spark. Everyone used to really, but then when I was around people who felt thing, my energy, it was just like a flame out. Your flame's out. I get back home, boom, my flame would be sparked again. Do you know what I mean? Because that's why. So no, to me the answer isn't. I wasn't introverted, but I was so insecure and fearful and scared as a child. I became an introvert in the environments I was put in. Whereas if I feel
powerful, that, mate, you know?
I feel like people who've got father figures in their life near the age, that's where they're so instrumental. That masculine energy.
Yeah, I never had that.
Do you know what I'm saying? Go in and
keep
your head up, put your chin up.
Yeah, I struggle with not having one, to be honest. It did play a massive part. You know what I mean? I've had to double my ego, put it on like I'm. It? Wasn't good.
So what you're referring to there, I've gone from there, the stage that we spoke about at the very beginning, saying the stage I went through when I was young, that's where I was so insecure, and then I was like, I'm training now, I'm this.
Fucking
you want the world wants to, you want to laugh at me
now.
now. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it was like. It was idiotic, but that's what it was like. It was like I couldn't let. I used to get these things, the way I used to get me feel as a child, I used to get that feeling in me, and I'd be so angry at people for no reason. And if that was that was just massively what sent me on all these and got me into the wrong thing, got me into trouble so much, because I was just so angry with being treated the way I did. It was never like I was bullied, Tim. It wasn't like bullied.
Yeah.
I was definitely edged out and made to feel not good about myself on numerous occasions as a child. I really was, especially in football. I got made to feel really insecure.
Do you ever felt like you fitted in?
I've never felt it like I've never felt like I fitted in except with my family. I never felt like I fitted in.
Have you always been? I'm just going off my own. I'm asking my own questions here. You always try to fight to fit in with other people.
100%. So my dad was black.
Yeah.
My dad left when I was very young, but my mum continued to take me to see my black side of the family out off her own back. I never felt like I fitted in with the black family, ever. I was made to feel white around the black family. But then the schools that I went and stuff, because I was really light skinned and I'm ginger as well, so it's not very obvious, but I'm black, do you know what I mean? I've got black in me. So when the schools that I was going to, I also never felt like I fitted in the white, and that's where it became that. Now my family loved me for who I was, my white side, my white family. They just loved me for who I was. I was just Luke to them. So I never felt like I had to prove anything, both with the black side of my family and in every other scenario. I felt like I had to prove something or who I was, or you know what I mean? I always remember a girl saying to me, "Why do you look like a monkey?" This was in year 7. "Why do you look like a monkey?" Now, there wasn't a racist thing. We were in year 7. She's just saying what she sees. "Why do you look like a monkey?" And I went home and said, "Mum, why do I look like a monkey?" I was looking in the mirror. I was like, "I actually look like a monkey." Now, my mum, being a white person who doesn't know anything about black heritage or anything like that, I was like, "You don't." Whereas my dad would have been like, "What? He's called you a monkey?" And that's where I feel like that masculine presence would have, not that I wanted them to go and flip, but he'd have explained, "Listen, we're not monkeys. This is why you got called a monkey." And I'd have understood it, Tim. But no, all these little things, signals, like, "Why do I look like that?" And that's when I'd literally look at myself and think I look like a monkey, but didn't know why. Now, when I got to the age where I realised I was black, and I had black hair, and I started to realise, it made sense to me and it made me feel okay. So all of this, that could have been avoided with the right information given, but I wasn't around the right people to get the right information, because my family just loved me for who I was, as I said. But that was where, so it went off on a tangent, didn't I? You're asking, was he introverted? So that's the roundabout answer, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, I mean, no, it wasn't with my family. To everyone else it was, and now I couldn't be any less of an introverted facade. I'll go into any situation whatsoever, and I'll hold my chin high and my chest out. Not like I'm the alpha, just as in like I'm who I am. This is me. This is what you get.
That's a big thing, that.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so like it's funny how
people need that, don't they? It's almost, you know what I mean? It's just like, say I was a young lad, and I was struggling with my identity, fitting in. I didn't have a father. To come to one of your classes and join your programs, it's not just, look, we're not going to be throwing kettlebells around. I'm actually trying to understand who I am. Where do I? Yeah.
So that's what a lot of my clientele is. Exactly that, what you've just said, Tim. A lot of people who will get messages from and who come to the class and who do the program are young men who are confused and need something to. Need something. They don't know what they need, but
it's
they need
beautiful
something.
thing that, mate, for a brand to do. A beautiful thing.
It is, man. It's
Listen,
powerful.
look, the Shred Fast name. Love the Shred Fast name. It's cool that it's called that because that pulls the people in. But the real magic happens once you're in there.
Yeah.
And unknowing to you.
Yeah, man.
And helping you with your identity.
The shred even part, like you're shredding away the
trauma, but they don't see that when they first think.
I know, that's definitely not 1,000,000%, that just pulls you in, definitely.
You want to look at this cool guy with a beard, rips up to fuck, just like doesn't. I want to look like that, cool, but knowing to you.
That's it. But my friend, Mark, who just spoke to you, Mark Scanlon again, shout out to him, man, he's a champ. But he's 4 or 5 years older than me, Mark, and he taught me how to be a man, if I'm honest, he really did. I had my auntie, who I referred to before, who called me sister, her husband as well, played a massive role in that as a child. But Mark, like, taught me how to fight, and he, like, I sparred with
when
him
you
for the
say
first
he
time.
taught you to be like a man, just give me an example of some of the things. that he kind of taught you?
Being able to take care of myself,
Yeah.
which then leads to self-confidence. So
Yeah.
just knowing how to fight, as I say, I think is essential for young men growing up, is just to learn self-defense so that they don't feel vulnerable in certain situations.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you've got to go and fight.
Yeah.
Professionally, just to know how
knowing
to
that
defend
you can
yourself.
take care of yourself,
You've
you
got
take care of the
jiu-jitsu
people
and stuff
around
now.
you.
It doesn't mean you have to punch each other in the head. Then you got jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
you can do karate, just some type of martial arts which shows you not only how to defend yourself, but also a little bit of self-discipline and also physical health. Do you know what I mean? So it's the best of everything. And this is men and women that I'm referring to here, by the way. But like I say, like in terms of just like, I can only speak from a man's point of view because I'm a man. So he just taught me that. He taught me the value of like keeping to your word. He taught me the value of being consistent with the training. So like I say, we sparred every single week for probably say close to 8 months, 9 months, every
power
single
of
week.
Self-discipline, what we said before.
And it was just, he was giving it to me, do you know what I mean? And it was hard. It was really hard to do it. He's a big, strong fella. He's been in the UFC, Mark. So doing that with him, it just taught me grit, determination. And
I love this.
I was scared going in every single Tuesday. I was scared to go in, like, and then we were doing Shark Tanks and stuff. And I got to do rounds in the end with someone, like Paul Kelly. I was doing rounds with in the end. I remember thinking, oh mate, I was watching him on UFC 4 or 5 years ago. He was literally in the UFC, Paul Kelly from England. He was from Liverpool, but he had maybe 3 or 4 fights in there. Like he done really well. He was a household name in the UFC at that time. So I'm sparring with these people and thinking, how have I even come this far to sparring with him? And it was all thanks to Mark teaching me and showing me the ropes. And as I say, he just also taught me a lot about self-care and taking care of my mind. Like I say, if you were to see him, he's just a big, he's got the cauliflower ears, everything. He looks like probably the hardest fella you could ever imagine. If you could draw a superhero of a hard MMA fighter, you'd draw Mark. Short, stocky, built like a brick shithouse, and like he's just so kind-hearted.
What's the one thing that sort of resonated with you most? The one thing that Mark's taught you, would you say? Because I love the thing about being impeccable with your word. Yeah.
So always, that's from like a book that I read called The 4 Agreements, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But in terms of Mark, what he's taught me, that you can exactly what I just said. You can be a man, and it doesn't mean you've got to be like an overpowering, overconfident, toxic masculinity.
That's what I really struggled with, mate.
Yeah.
Really struggled with
In
that.
what sense?
Just for the fact of, because I didn't know who I was, and I thought when I'd seen other people and the bravado and the, look, this is what a man should be and this, what's it, I needed, thought, right, well, this is how it should be. No one's taught me that. It didn't feel right. You know, there was parts I couldn't look at myself in the mirror because I was like, I'm not being really myself here. But what's really happened is that I've had that knocked out of me through self-care, through meditation, through mushrooms is big one.
Okay.
That fucking knocked the shit out of me, that.
Yeah. Did they help you?
Yeah. It's the best way I can describe it is no matter any counselling you do and stuff like that, no matter what he tells you, you cannot lie to yourself. And the mushrooms will bring up things to you and present things to you that you cannot escape. You cannot escape your own bullshit. And it's there. And then I'm like, I need to run away. You're not running away. I'm now here. What are you going to do? And it gets right to you. And you're just like, okay, I'll allow you. And it just goes,
okay. Powerful.
Fucking hell. It's like an internal workout.
Do you believe you can achieve that without mushrooms?
It depends what type of person you are. I think everybody's different. I thought I had no trauma. I thought it was cool, you know what I mean? I feel good most days, mate. I feel great most days, to be honest. I'm a positive person, but it presented some stuff to me that were ugly, and I didn't like it. I got shown 3 faces of what my impatientness looks like. Did not like that. I'm very impatient. You know, I need it now. Right, I need to control things. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. It's not good. I can't put that on somebody else, my expectations. That's ugly. So I'm kind of like dealing with all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's stuff that you talk about and you believe in, you know. But it's, no matter what anyone says to me, I can't lie to myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, listen to him.
That's why I like that you do what you know you should do, whether you feel like doing it or not, because you know what you should do internally.
Yeah.
And every time you don't do what you know you should do, you chip away at your character.
Why did you choose kettlebells as the way? I looked at you, I can't wait to start trying it out, right? I've done kettlebells, but I don't do kettlebells how you do it, and I need to implement that in my life. Yeah.
So there's a number of reasons. So the first was the kind of injuries I was picking up from all the other styles of training I'd done with the barbells and stuff and the bodybuilding. The main reason was that the typical gym workouts that people do, bench press, bicep curl, shoulder press, it's aesthetic. You want an aesthetic look from it. Now when you go into training with the mindset of I need to look good, and you've got so much time there's mirrors in every single corner of the room in gyms. You do one set and you walk around and you do I look better yet? Do I look better yet? Now like that in itself is damaging. Secondly, the overall thing of aesthetics, so the only reason you're doing it is for that. So the short term is you're doing 1-2 sets, you've got loads of time to think in between, and you're looking at yourself, you judge and do I look bigger, do I look better, what do they look like, we'll go again doing the set. So that was the first thing I didn't like. The second was the long-term effect of you're constantly assessing your body every single morning. Oh, do I look bigger, do my shoulders look better, how do I look?
Bullshit.
All this type of thing. So this isn't everyone, by the way. There's loads of other styles of training, but that's what I was doing. That's what training I was doing. So this led me into like, this isn't working for me. I train religiously all the time, 2 times, 3 times a day sometimes, and it wasn't bringing me happiness long term. So I tried a bit of CrossFit, and again with the CrossFit I just found it injured me, because the barbells, I just think they're horrendous. It's like absolutely the worst invention ever, because to have the wrist things, that the pressure on the wrists and the joints, especially the elbows and stuff, I just don't agree with it. But that's something, Tim, that I'd take and hold another podcast probably, so I won't go too deep into that. But that again, so I like the effect of CrossFit, dead hard and So then I thought, let me give the kettlebells a go, and just how they move, they just mold around your body. They're designed in a way to just fit into the grooves in your body and twist with your joints, so rather than holding a set place and you're trying to do a certain movement. They move with you, they flow around your wrist, they flow up to your chest. And the biggest and most important point I want to make is that they hold you accountable, Tim, for everything. They just sat on the floor, they're just on the floor looking at you like, what? What are you going to do with me? Whereas a barbell, you can walk up to a barbell that's racked up with 200 kilograms on and go underneath it and go, walk back, and then try and squat it and blow your back out. Now, try and do that with a 200 kilogram kettlebell. You won't move it off the floor, so therefore you can't squat it or hurt yourself. The only damage you could do is try to lift it up and bend, put your back out, but you'd have to be, it's there. You're not walking under a kettlebell and going. Also, have you ever seen anyone standing there with the knees strapped and then someone hands them one kettlebell there and another kettlebell? You never see that. Now, again, I've got to make sure I'm careful here, because powerlifting as a sport, I respect, like, unbelievably. I love it, and there's nothing wrong with doing it, but the fact of the matter is it's damaging on the body. But that's just like every sport. So is boxing. I love that. So is UFC. That causes brain damage. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is, if your goal, Tim, isn't to compete, why would you get punched in the head? So if you're like in boxing, so like don't do it. There's other ways to get fit. You can hit pads, you don't have to get punched in the head if you're not planning on doing it for a living, or you're not getting paid for it to provide for your family. Now, same with weightlifting. If you're not getting paid for this or looking to compete, why are you literally damaging your body? Or potentially damaging your body every time you step in the gym? The kettlebells hold you accountable from the second you start the complex to the second you put them on the floor. No one's taking the weight off you. You're not throwing the dumbbells down on the floor either side of you. You're not putting something back up on a rack and then walking away. You haven't got a belt around you. You haven't got knee straps on. You're accountable to gradually improve your strength and fitness at a slow pace, which like we spoke about. So I just feel like they're so relatable to life. They make you grow at the rate that you're able to.
I love the accountability. You know what I'm just saying to the floor. It's like, what are you doing?
Because they've seen the gorillas. Have you seen where they do the... And they're just looking at you just like... These are different ones. A lot of people are just doing them now. But, you know, one of them is just looking at you, that it's a good effect. Like, they're just looking at you like, what are you going to do with me? You're not picking me up. And it's like, well, I will one day. And then I always remember my mate said, come and said the 32s, gorillas, they're me goal for like, by the end of the year, I'm going to do a snatch with a single one of them.
32 kilogram.
Yeah, so he wanted to do a single bell snatch. He done it just before Christmas a couple of years ago. And like, I remember, like, it was just boss to hear him say, I'm going to get one of them gorillas up, you know what I mean? I'm going to get that gorilla over my head. And he had to work hard and put in the work to get that gorilla over his head. As I say, he didn't walk under a rack and try and do it. Squeeze out half a rep, quarter of a rep and go, oh, it's so strong. It's like, it's real strength, it's real accountability, and it heals, it healed my meniscus tear. I've watched it heal so many like shoulder problems that people come to and start to. I've watched it like all different types of knee, joints, lower back. Do you know what I mean? I've seen it literally repair. It's brilliant for flexibility. So many people have come to me and don't stretch at all and have got 10 times more flexible than they were before they started, Tim. They just do something different. It just hits differently when you do a kettlebell, and when you do a steadfast session, especially, it just hits different. The combination that we've put together, which is a complex, which is a metal complex now, which is Metcons, Emons, Tabatas, AMRAPs, and ladders, all those complexes into the one. Into the one methodology, and I mess around with that constantly. You'll never do the same session twice, but it's all with the same.
How does somebody start with Shred Fast, mate? How would they start off? If someone's listening to this and wants to start off with you, how do they start off?
Shredfastprogram.co.uk. You sign up. It's £30 plus VAT, so it works out about £35 or £36 for 3 months, Tim.
Oh, not a month?
Not a month, for 3 months.
Sick.
So it's the equivalent to £10 a month.
Oh, sick.
Now, the reason that I priced
so it's accessible for everybody?
Everybody. Come on, if you're telling me you can't afford £10 a month for your health.
And what did he get? What did he get for that, mate?
They get 12 workouts uploaded a week, every single week, brand new, which we record in the gym. Beginner, intermediate, advanced. You got body blasts.
On an app?
It's a web app at the minute, and I've got the app. It's tangible. It's within my grasp, right, but it's not perfect yet. So I'm not launching it till it's perfect. Yeah. So that's coming very soon. But that will not be launching until it's picture perfect. Because when that's my product essentially, that has to be perfect. We did go to do a launch day. We had to stop it. I had to own up, take responsibility. It was my fault. Sick. I didn't take enough time to really
understand it, and
rip it apart and get the feel of it. So that will come. But at the minute, it's a web app that's so easy to use, Tim, and it's full length, follow along workouts, every single one of them.
I'm going to sign up.
Except the running ones. So the running ones, we tell you what to do. You've got to get the running in yourself, but it's very easy to do it because I love running. I think it's essential. And if you can't run, walking's fine. If you can't walk, use a bike, and you've got to get.
I'm excited, mate. I'm excited. I'm going to tag you in my journey.
You're going to do it, yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. I love it, man. I love when someone really, you can feel it.
What weight kettlebells you need to start off with then?
Always recommend. So for women between 6 and, well, I'd even say as low as 4 if you're an ultimate beginner. Yeah. 2-4. It's got to be pairs. So when I say 4s, that's essentially 8 kilograms. Okay. So it's always a pair of kettlebells you need. So between 4 and 8 kilograms for girls, so 4, 6s or 8s, tends to go up in 2s kettlebells until you get heavier, which I'll explain in a second. So you've got like 2s, 4s, 6, 8s, 12s. Even from 12, it usually skips to 16s without the 14, but you can get hold of basically every weight of kettlebell now because they're becoming more popular. Yeah. People are designing the little in-between kettlebells. So you can basically get any weight you want, but it used to tend to go up from 12 to 16, 16 to 20, 20 to 24. Then it goes to 32, or you get like a 28 sometimes, and then you go to like your 40s and stuff, but don't even have to go into them 40s just yet because you're using 2, as I say, bear in mind. So yeah, basically between 4 and 8 to 10 starting weight for girls.
Yeah.
Between 8 and 12 starting weight.
So when you pick him up and you're doing it, you'll kind of know, won't you?
Yeah.
You'll be kind of looking,
you gotta
just drop it.
Well, what I'd like to do, we've got a concept, and beginners is between 10 to 30%, 10 to 20%, sorry, for beginners of your body weight. So the kettlebells combined as a percentage of your body weight. Do you know what I mean? So all you have to do is Google it. So if you're an 80 kilos man, then you will say, and you're using 210s, you will say 20 kilo. What percentage is 20 kilograms of 80? Yeah, and that's your percentage. Now you want to be working within about a 10 to 20% of your body weight range to start. Now 20 to 40 is still in and around, up until 40, beginner, intermediate. 40 to 60, intermediate towards advanced, and 70 and over kind of is elite. If you're lifting 70% of your body weight and over, I consider that elite, advanced, like athlete type. So eventually I'm going to be sponsoring steadfast athletes, and to get to that stage you're going to have to be doing 70 to 80% of your body weight. And if you can do that in the correct form, and I can say, yeah, you're doing everything perfect with a certain methodology and certain complex that we use to see your strength, then I'm going to start to pay these people to be athletes and push the boat constantly. Set the bar, set the bar, set the bar. These steadfast athletes are going to be all global, and they're going to be setting the pace for everybody. Do you know what I mean?
So what can you expect then? So obviously I've got my weight, I know what I'm thinking. What am I expecting? What was going to be kind of my first workouts? What kind of?
So we've got a 12.
This podcast is just for me, to be honest. So
a 12 session beginner course.
Yeah.
Now that goes from 1 to 12. So session 1, 2, 3 is week 1.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 week 2, and so on all the way up to 12. So it ends up being a month in total. Right. Because what I recommend on your Tuesday and Thursday is zone 2 cardio, which I'll go into in just a second. So you'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what I recommend on your beginner course. So your beginner course is there listed for you. You'll click Steadfast Ultimate Beginner and you'll do your full month. This is a novice. The first session is me just speaking. The second session is me speaking mostly with a little bit of movements with the weight. The third, it progressively just gets harder.
Slow and steady.
So it's just literally breaking you in, as we spoke about again.
Slow and steady, mate.
Simplicity is key, and just slow and steady within this. I always say it every single workout, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's the truest saying ever, we're in this for the long haul. We are literally in this for the long haul. We are in a rush for nobody. We're starting the journey together. We're starting it sensibly, and we're going to do this right. So you do your 12 sessions, you're then ready and equipped to go on to your intermediate. Now the beauty of the intermediate, right up to the advanced, even you could do my advanced workout, Tim. Once you've done your beginner course, you've got your technique, you could do my advanced. You just would use lighter weight. You wouldn't go as high a rep range as I'm saying, but I give the option of a, so I'll say rep range is 3 to 6. That's 3, 4, 5 or 6. So you just do 3s with the lighter weight. So you could do any of the workouts. It's just the intensity and the whatever I put into it. Me sister / auntie is who does the intermediate, who's just the most amazing woman you could ever like honestly imagine. Like the most amazing mum, the most amazing like sister to me, just the best person you could imagine. And her energy again is what is making that one so special. But don't be fooled into that. Like she sets a good pace. She's a machine, man. She's 50 as well. Next year she's 50. She doesn't look a day over 35. So people are literally seeing she doesn't look.
How long are the workouts?
Her ones are around 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The ultimate beginners 20 to 35
slow
tops.
Steady,
my ones 50 to an hour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The nitty gritty. Then on Tuesday, Thursdays, we do body blast and power up, which is just a slightly shorter version
of a HIIT.
Of HIIT, but with the kettlebells, but a lot of body weight in them. They're around 45 minutes.
I'm excited.
And you combine them with your running. So as I say, so you do your 12, your ultimate beginner for your month. You'll then go straight on to the intermediate and the advanced. And the intermediate and advanced are literally uploaded 3 brand new workouts every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Myself, advanced, Helen, intermediate, Tuesday, Thursday, Joe, absolute legend, one of the lads who's come in, and he's his work ethic and just everything about him and his character is just off the chain. And again, comes down to intention, and he's doing the Tuesday, Thursdays. I join in and do some of them. We do a bit of shred box, which is basically just another word for boxercise. Because I love me boxing and I like to teach people a few things. Just keeps people
hybrid one, just kind of keeping it.
I put that up the other day and people were like, this needs to be in every single week. I was like, this is where you're getting, this is where
this is the car thing.
Which?
Isn't it? Where it's just like, look, you're comfortable with this, we're trying something a little bit new.
Got to always just be something different, something different, keep you guessing. Never do the same session twice. But people were like, we need this in every week, and I was like, when you get everything you want, you lose the love for it. So I'm like, I know you want it because it's brilliant, it's dead exciting, it's something different, but I can't give it to you all the time, otherwise it loses its effect very quickly. So that's something that gets through in as and when I want to do it. So that's your Tuesday, Thursday, and your Saturday, you do the workout of the week, we call it, which means...
You don't know what it's going to be.
Not even so that's for really advanced people as well, by the way, because if you're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's a brutal week. You're probably good to just go a bit of zone 2, which again we'll get into in a minute, on the Saturday, and a nice recovery day Sunday, go again the following week. Now if you're really advanced, and some people absolutely love it and do steadfast every single day, there's loads of them doing that now, which is brilliant.
How many members have you got?
I have to keep that one.
Yeah,
I have to, like Tim. I can't, because it's almost a bit of a flex if I say that, and I want to really try and stay as humble and respectful as I can with it.
It's fine, mate, it's fine.
But when I get to my target, I'll be letting that be known. Definitely. It's doing good. It's where it needs to be.
Good.
It really is where it needs to be. But
so you see it as a flex and not being proud of it? What do you just struggle with that a little bit? Like,
people will just do the maths.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it has to be a flex, and even if you don't say it as a flex, it becomes one.
Yeah.
You've got that many members. Let's just concentrate on the real work.
It's
done,
fine.
Man.
Good, mate. I respect that, man. I respect
thank you. But so the workout of the week, is basically whatever workout you enjoyed the most, you do it again and you try and beat your score.
Right.
So like you try and go that little bit, like maybe say we do a ladder complex, 1 to 10, and you only manage to get to 7.
Just talk me through a ladder complex. What's a ladder complex?
So a ladder complex would usually be a set amount of time on the clock, and you'll do say 3 exercises. So say it's press up, swing. I'm getting really mixed up here. So just say it's, I'm just trying to think of the easiest one for you viewers to understand. So kettlebell swing, then a kettlebell squat, and then maybe drop it and go into burpees, right? Yeah. So then 3 exercises. Yeah. Now we'll put 30 minutes on the clock, just say, and you'll ladder from 1 to 10, meaning you'll do 1 swing and you go in your own time. This is what's great about them. So you're saying, would I be able to do it? Yeah, but you might only get to 5, and that's fine. Advanced might get to 10 and back to 1. But the same workout, same people, when I do these classes, you've got people going bump, 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 and some people going, I can't even get to... Everyone, no one cares. You're in your own journey, you're doing your own thing. So you do 1 swing, 1 squat, 1 burpee. You take as much rest as you need for the level you're at. You do 2 swing, 2 squat, 2 burpee. You go up as much. Do you know what I mean? It's simplicity is key with training, Tim. It is honestly, it's the single most important thing. Keep it simple, keep it functional, keep it in line with the natural movements of your body. A swing is a hinging of the hip. We do it 100 times a day. Every time we go to sit down or stand up, we hinge our hips. We squat to sit down again, to play with children, to sit down, to stand up. It's squatting. A lunge, we'll step over somewhere to pick. All these things are functional. A burpee, you're just taking your chest to the floor and throwing it back up. It's moving the body. It's moving the body in its natural, natural way. You don't have to do these crazy, people are, because everything now is content. People are trying to come up with new ways. This looks great. Let's do this. Yeah, it's good. It might get a bit of traction, but don't be misled into thinking like that's what's really going to work. Yeah,
people try to embellish stuff, aren't they, to make it.
Tried and tested things are what works. Yeah. Squats, pressing over the head, chest press, lunges, swings, snatches. Yeah. You know what I mean? Thruster. All of these might not mean anything to you, but these are just the exercises that they're just really compound, big, all body movements that just require strength and functionality. So I just try and keep it as simple as possible, but I blend it in a very unique way and keep it really exciting, and you never know what you're going to get, and that's where I make it enjoyable, is that you don't know what you're going to get. And we'll be finish a complex and I might say active rest, so everyone thinks they're getting a rest, and we're doing star jumps for 2 minutes, and then everyone will go, right, that's it, and then I'll say 20 burpees to finish. No, little things like that, just that's
just
where
when you think you're
but
finished.
I'm not saying 20 high knees, do this, all crazy stuff that people are going, what's that? It's just simple exercises, but I'm asking for them at times you really don't want to do them, or I'm putting them together in a complex that makes it really tough to do, but the exercises themselves are simple. Now, just a perfect example off the top of my head to use is a complex we done today. Was every minute on the minute the bell sounds, ding, and you have to perform what was it, what did we do? So we done clean, press and squat. So that's getting it up to the chest, through the legs up to the chest, through the legs up to the chest, press over the head, and then squat. Now they're so simple, and once you've got the basics of working out with the kettlebells, that is really easy to do, Tim, for anybody. But every minute on the minute, hold you accountable that every minute you're doing it for 10 minutes. And then not only that, the rep range is 3, 4, 5 or 6. So I was going for like 3s and 4s with a really heavy weight, and it was brutal. Now, if you're not quite at that level yet, you'll go for 3s with a lightweight, and you won't feel anywhere near like I do. But then you've even got the option to go to 6. So you've got some people who are going moderate weight, but they're going 6s, and they're not getting much rest because they're working for longer. They're not getting as much rest, and the bell's going again. So there's so much diversity within just that one complex.
Brutal,
You've got all different people doing all different levels and weights, and yeah, it's so simple, Tim. But everything has to be simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Nothing in life does. I just feel with saying them, the more you can understand it, right? Okay, that's what I need to do. Now it's about intensity. The intensity that I'm going to do this with. So it leaves it where I'm not thinking, what's that? How do I do that? What's the technique of that? Really simple. Now it's down to how much are you willing to suffer? How much are you willing to go through that burn now? How high are you going to get on that ladder? When you do like Tabatas, which is the HIIT style, are you going to keep going to the bell, or are you going to be doing high knees and stop at 10 seconds? Or that's where the task is. Let's go for the full 20 seconds. Come on. Because when you first start, this is the thing, no one's got a gun to your head saying you have to do it. You can stop whenever you need to. So when you're at your early stage, you're going to have to stop, man. Do you know what I mean? You're going to have to, I'm blowing here, I feel like I can't catch my breath. Take a second, come back in when you're ready. Do you know what I mean? You're only better than yourself. You're not making your health any worse by doing this. But I always do, of course, recommend everyone checks with the physician or a medical expert before they partake in anything, to make sure that they've got no underlying health issues. That's paramount. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be doing something and it could be detrimental to you. So I advise everyone to go and get checked, and as long as they get the full all clear from the doctors, then you throw yourself in, man. You go for it. Do you know what I mean? And you push yourself gradually each and every day, 1% better, just 1% better. Just do that little bit better than yesterday. I'm saying all this as we're working out. Just be that 1% better. Just literally leave it on the mat. I say a lot. Just leave everything on the mat. Walk away from this workout knowing, give everything their blood, sweat and tears. Pay me dues. I like to use that term. Just paying your dues each day. Because as I said, the reason behind a lot of that, I'm massive on like back in the day, Tim, and you know, like hunter-gatherers. Like I've got an obsession with it. Warrior mentality, I've got an obsession with it. I love Vikings. I actually found out I had a massive Viking percentage of Irish. Got a massive Irish, and when we studied where it was in Ireland, it ended up very dominant with Vikings at one point. So I always had this obsession, and now I know why. Now I know why I've got the ginger beard and that. So that to me though, like back in the day, as I say, you didn't just wake up and just be able to drink and eat. It was like you paid your dues. Now the beautiful thing about self-fast is because it's based around fasting too. I feel like you earn your first meal. Now these certain occasions when I do say to people, if you're looking to gain weight, you're looking to even maintain your weight, and you've got a very high metabolism, there's nothing wrong with having a high fat, high protein breakfast, which could be, for example, for your viewers, eggs. Like 3 full eggs. You've got your high fats and you've got your protein with maybe some avocado. That's a good calorie intake and also fat intake to do your workout. But that's like 0.1% of the population. Now, the majority of people aren't going to have a great metabolism, and they're going to be getting on a little bit in age, and they're going to be looking to trim down a little bit. So the majority of people, I always advise train fasted. So you train them, and when you're hungry, you're training, and don't see it as in I've got no energy. See it as in I'm in and I'm chasing me prey. You're chasing after that meal. You're getting it in, otherwise you don't get that meal. You're paying your dues. Do you know what I'm saying? So I like to use all these things because, as I say, I'm only having fun with it, and I'm not like literally saying, like, you know what I mean, you don't finish your kettlebells, you don't get your dinner like you do with your kids, but like it's just more to just make you fun.
It's nice to have that in your head when you do it.
Play a little game in your mind, do you know what I mean? Like I'm chasing it, like you're chasing your prey, you know what I mean? Every second of it, every single rep counts, every single second of that workout will make that first bit of food feel so much sweeter.
I love that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm finishing on that. I love the fact it's just not given to you, earn it. Pay your dues, man. Pay your dues. I'm leaving pay your dues. That's the end of the podcast.
That's it for the
Luke, thank you for coming on.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Everybody go and follow, what, you Shred Fast, aren't you?
Shred.fast
on Instagram.
And shredfastprogram.co.uk is our website with that.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best.